Hello, my name is Jonathan Fish, and I'm a judge in Orange County. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the role of a judge. A judge is a neutral in a court case. There are many different types of court cases. It could be a civil case where somebody is suing somebody for money, or it could be a criminal case where the government has accused somebody of a crime. In either of those cases, it is the judge who is neutral, doesn't favor each side, and rules on objections according to the law. When the judge asks a question, it's important that talking in the courtroom stops. The judge will normally speak to one of the attorneys. However, on occasion, a victim or other witnesses can be spoken to by the judge. Maybe the judge has a question about the testimony that just occurred, or maybe a question of a victim to see how they feel about sentencing or punishment in a particular case. If you are in a courtroom and the judge asks you a question, it's very important that you answer him or her directly, using the word yes or no instead of yeah or nah, because there's a court reporter that takes everything down. So the words have to be loud and easy to understand. I know that appearing in court can be very scary and make anybody nervous, so I'd like to ask if anybody would like to ask me some questions, and so that you can understand the court process a little better.
First, I want to ask you, is the judge the one that decides whether I'm guilty or not guilty?
He can, but usually it's going to be a jury that makes that decision when you've been accused of a crime.
Can I talk directly to the judge?
Usually you cannot talk directly to the judge right away. Your attorney will talk to the judge for you.
What does the judge do then?
The judge will listen to both sides, make sure that whatever happens in court is fair to both sides, and if there's a decision of guilt, the judge will make sure that the sentence is done fairly.
Do I have to know what it is that I'm supposed to say when I get to court? And how will I know if I'm supposed to know this on my own?
The most important thing is to make sure that you have an attorney. If you don't have an attorney, you have a right to one free of charge, and it is your attorney who will help you make those sorts of decisions.
Does the judge ever ask me questions when I get to court?
Sometimes the judge will ask you questions, but normally your attorney will do all of the talking with the judge.
So the judge doesn't ask me whether I'm guilty when I get to court?
Sometimes the judge will talk to you to ask if you want to plead guilty or not guilty, but usually the judge will want to make sure that you have an attorney to help you make those decisions first.
What happens if the judge asks me a question and I don't know what the answer is?
The correct answer, if you don't know what the answer is I don't know. That's a truthful answer.
When I come to court for the first time, would I expect to see a jury or have a trial?
No, when you come to court for the first time, a couple things you should remember. Make sure to be on time. Nobody likes it when you're late. And make sure to be dressed respectfully. Wear your best clothes so that you look like you're taking your case very seriously. And when you come in the very first time, the judge will explain to you what you've been accused of, what the possible punishment is, and make sure to tell the judge that you like an attorney if you want one.
If I'm found guilty of a crime, will I be punished?
If you are found guilty of a crime, there may be some sort of punishment. It often depends on what the crime is and what your role in that crime was, if any. It also may depend on whether or not you've been in trouble before.
Who decides what the punishment is for a crime, and do people get the same punishment if they commit a particular crime?
In the law, there is a prescribed or a specific punishment that is set for each different crime. There's a little bit of variance that's allowed so that the judge can treat people who are not as bad as others differently, because we know that all people are not the same. So the judge has to consider what actually happened in a particular case and what the individual person who's accused of a crime is like. And once the judge makes those two decisions, he or she can find where the appropriate punishment should be.
And if I'm the victim of a crime, do I get to talk to the judge about what I think a punishment ought to be?
Yes. If the person who is accused of the crime is found guilty by a jury or admits that they're guilty, the law requires that the judge listen to the victim if the victim wants to be heard about what he or she thinks the crime should be punished by.